Welcome to the West Hills Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. This is our March 22nd online worship service. I am the Reverend Tracy Springberry, and I use the pronouns she and her. It is lovely that we can be together for Sunday services, even when we have to be physically distant. I am here in Wolf's Sanctuary, and I can imagine all your faces before me, those who've been coming here a long time and those I have never met. From our scattered places all over Portland and further abroad, we are still together, a community of belonging and hope. We are all welcome here together as we remind ourselves what matters as we traverse our uncertain but gift-filled lives. The flame of this chalice reminds us of the spark of love and life that resides in us all and is our true nature. Let us say our affirmation together. Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another.
Lockdown. Yes, there is fear. Yes, there is isolation. Yes, there is panic buying. Yes, there is sickness. And yes, there is even death. But they say in Wuhan, after so many years of noise, you can hear the birds again. They say that after just a few weeks of quiet, the sky is no longer thick with fumes, but blue and gray and clear. They say that in the streets of Assisi, people are singing to each other across the empty squares, keeping their windows open so that those who are alone may hear the sounds of family around them. They say that a hotel in the west of Ireland is offering free meals and delivery to the households that are housebound. Today, a young woman I know is busy spreading flyers with her number through the neighborhood so that the elders may have someone to call on. Today, churches, synagogues, mosques, and temples are preparing to welcome and shelter the homeless, the sick, and the weary. All over the world, people are slowing down and reflecting. All over the world, people are looking at their neighbors in a new way. All over the world, people are waking up to a new reality, to how big we are, to how little control we really have. to what really matters, to love. So we pray, and we remember that, yes, there is fear, but there does not have to be hate. Yes, there is isolation, but there does not have to be loneliness. Yes, there is panic buying, but there does not have to be meanness. Yes, there is sickness, but there does not have to be disease of the soul. And yes, there is even death, but there can always be a rebirth of love. Wake to the choices you make as to how to live now. Today, breathe. Listen. Behind the factory noises of your panic, the birds are singing again. The sky is clearing. Spring is coming. And we are always encompassed by love. Open the windows of your soul, and though you may not be able to touch across the empty square, sing.
We come together in worship each week and remember that life is both joy and sorrow. Let us be grateful for the joys, for the babies and the daffodils, for the blue jays and basketball, for good novels and long soaking baths. Let us be grateful for the people that make us smile, for ideas that make us better, and for help gladly given. Let us ask for support in our sorrows, for when we are ill, or separated from those we love. For when something we dearly looked forward to was canceled. For when our bodies hurt and our hearts break. For when we are afraid, or when we are overwhelmed, and when we do not behave as we wished we would. Let us take a moment in prayer, meditation, or reflection, as is your tradition. Three weeks ago, I preached from this pulpit to all of you in person. 2 days before, the first case of COVID-19 in Oregon had been diagnosed in someone who worked in Lake Oswego and lived in Hillsborough. It was one of the first community spread cases in the United States. There had been a run on hand sanitizer and disinfectant. We were anxious. We didn't hold hands. We washed them a lot. It felt scary, uncertain, but somehow at that point, manageable. Like if we just did those things, it would all be okay. The world has changed a lot since then. In those 3 weeks, the cases in Oregon have jumped to 114. In the US, they've gone from a few hundred to over 19,000. And by the time you hear this, those numbers will probably be much higher. Schools and restaurants have closed. Public gatherings have ended. Our congregation has stopped meeting in person. We are distancing, staying in our homes, and going out rarely. In some parts of our country, people are in lockdown. I find myself reading entirely too much about coronavirus. I check the New York Times obsessively. I leave the Johns Hopkins coronavirus tab open on my computer and refresh it several times a day and watch the numbers go up. I check the Willamette Weekly and Oregon Live for local updates. I just can't stop watching. I check Facebook and I read what my colleagues are up to in other UU congregations around the United States. I read emails and Facebook posts of resources to help the congregation deal with this difficult time. The constantly changing situation, the endless upon endless predictions about what might happen, and all the conflicting ideas about what we do to fix it make me feel overwhelmed. I feel scattered. I forget things. I can't quite keep track of what I'm doing. There is so much information, and so much of it contradictory or unhelpful or just frightening. It is hard to know what is what. We know so little. I have, however, come to a few solid conclusions. Exponential growth of a virus is bad. Hand washing and social distance are good. And after I watched Angela Merkel's calm, empathetic, rallying speech to the German people, I decided I wanted her to be my president. She didn't make things any better, but I did feel like a grown-up was in charge. I felt like she understood what was going on, and I wanted that from my government, some empathy and some cohesiveness. I am already tired of staying at home. I want people. I want hugs. I thought that being home all the time meant the house would be cleaner and food would simmer in pots on the stove. Instead, my house is chaos, and I eat anything that takes less than 10 minutes from conception to consumption, and I am now out of cold cereal. This moment in our collective lives feels unreal, chaotic, strange, and fearful. It is a moment that could not have been imagined by most of us, unless we study pandemics or read certain kinds of science fiction novels just 3 months ago. I mean, how can this even be? How could a bit of matter, a microscopic ball, not even quite alive, bring our highly technological, scientifically advanced, economically sophisticated human world to its knees in just 2 months? We are human. For us, this crisis is particularly difficult and challenging. We are entirely social beings. When we are in pain, when we struggle, when we are anxious, we want each other close. We want to touch and hug. We want to feel each other's presence. Humans are creatures of habit. We like routine. We like our daily, weekly, monthly rituals. We make plans so we feel secure. We like to know what is going to happen next. People hate uncertainty, even more than we hate pain. We like to control our circumstances so we can control what happens to us. If we do this or that, we believe we will be safe and happy. When we can't control what is going on around us or the outcomes, we are out of place, anxious, and uncomfortable. Things change every day about what we should and shouldn't do, and every person I've talked to has had disappointments, some small and some very significant. We have had expectations, and they were dashed, and this is painful. These are difficult times. We can't be with our people. Our routines and plans have been upended, and all is uncertain, from knowing when we can leave our houses again to the spread and death toll of the virus, and to our economic futures. Almost every aspect of our lives is uncertain. That is to say, if you read coronavirus news like it's a horror novel, trying to gain some control of this situation through understanding, if your house is a mess, if you are forgetting things and eating too much cold cereal, or whatever your version of low functioning is, this is to say, that is to be expected. That is normal. These are challenging and traumatic times. And yet, it is spring here. The trees, bushes, and bulbs flower in wild abandon, reminding us that just being alive is a celebration worth showing up for. As I wrote this on my porch, a hummingbird came and hovered for a long time, just looking around, checking out the scene. Did I have a hummingbird feeder? Any blooming flowers? I watched their remarkable tiny buzzing body until they flew away. There are blue skies in China for the first time in decades. Carbon-producing airplanes have settled to the ground. Cruise ships have docked. Cars are staying in their driveways and parking lots. For once, we are spewing less carbon into the air, and we are learning fast that you don't have to travel quite so much to be connected. Mitch McConnell told Republicans to gag and vote for a bill that gave Americans paid sick leave and access to free coronavirus testing. As of Friday, of course, he's trying to take some of it back, but still, that happened. As unexpectedly, Congress is compromising rather than posturing in order to do something, in order to help people. The interconnected web has suddenly shown itself clearly. Governments at all levels are desperately trying to weave together a social safety net because suddenly the spiritual teaching that what happens to one of us happens to all of us is showing itself in bright neon reality. The mere breath of another person, of any income, of any race, of any ability, of any sexual orientation, or of any gender, their mere breath can endanger you or the people you love. Right now, we simply have to take care of everyone in order to take care of ourselves. That's not only biologically obvious, it's economically obvious too. The buying power of other people affects the whole economy. We can't pull out of this disaster with supply-side economics. It's about demand. It's about workers and ordinary people. It's about all of us. The possibility of real transformation of our country into a more gentle, loving place is here. When 3 weeks ago, it wasn't there at all. This crisis has required most of us to slow down and be still. Some of you have told me that when you could no longer rush from one appointment to the next, a silence and stillness settled over your lives, and how lovely the silence has been, and how the stillness has led to mindfulness. I've spoken to 2 people who entirely had lost track of the days of the week. I have spoken to others who have found profound contentment in their gardens or in nature. The poem Pandemic by the UU minister Lynn Unger that I read last week has gone viral and was even posted, I heard, on Julia Roberts' Instagram. It speaks to the possibilities of this moment. It asks us to consider this time as sacred, as an opening for transformation, as an entrance into a life lived more fully with heart. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Unger writes, cease from travel, cease from buying and selling. Give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are all connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny that now. Know that our lives are in each other's hands. Surely that has become clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. promise this world your love, for better, for worse, in sickness and in health, for as long as we all shall live. The truth is, we can never know what will happen in life. We can't jump ahead and read the ending, as much as we would like to. All we can do is to live our lives. And how we do that is what we get to choose. We can breathe in and out. We can hold a bite of food on our tongue and relish it. We can watch the hummingbird who plays a surprise visit. We can hug the people we are with. We can call the people that we love. We can reach out with our hearts. Right now, the world is bursting with people who are reaching out with their hearts. I get more smiles on my daily walk than I ever have before. People are leaving notes and playing music on their elderly neighbors' porches. One man, to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, circled a quarantined nursing home playing his bagpipes because his concert inside was canceled. In Italy, they sing to each other from their balconies. In Chicago, a man taught aerobics from his rooftop while his neighbors followed from their porches. People are feeding the hungry and the newly unemployed. Others are throwing concerts and dance parties on the internet for everyone to enjoy. I got an email from On Point Credit Union that made me teary, saying they are canceling payments on some types of loans, allowing penalty-free access to money market accounts, and ordering their employees lunches in every day from local restaurants. At Wolf, people have told me they would run errands for the most fragile among us, cook meals, and watch children. We say in our faith often that love, compassion, and kindness are the most powerful ways to be, that they are more powerful than hate. And we can feel that is true in these days. When we are disoriented and stressed, it is easier to notice how our hearts are healed when someone is kind to us. It is easier to notice that our hearts are healed when we say to someone, "I am here for you." We can't know what will happen in our lives or any of our lives. That is not the human fate. But we can choose how to be. So let's choose love. Let's choose compassion. Let's choose kindness. And all will be well.
I said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? And I said, Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian, do you not know about shame? But she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things know about disease. And I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? I said, Julian, it's too much. It brought me to my knees. But she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, no one does not know about sorrow, and no one does not know about pain. She said, no one does not know about hunger, and no one does not know about shame. And she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, no one does not know about loneliness, and no one does not know about disease. And she said, no one does not know about cruelty. She said, I know it's too much. It brought me to my knees, where I heard, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, baby girl, do you not know about tenderness? She said, baby girl, do you not know about friends? And she said, baby girl, do you not know about the spirit? She said, baby girl, do you not know it's only love that never ends? And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well.
As we prepare to gratefully give and receive our offering, we are reminded that love is the currency of our community. It was love that built the fires we are warmed by today, and love that planted the trees that shade us. WOOF exists because of the dedication and the commitment of those who came before, just as our future health depends on the dedication and the commitment of those in the present day. We especially remember the original stewards of this land we think of as ours, the First Nation peoples, many of whom live among us today and whom we welcome always in spirit and body. Perhaps you will show your love with a monetary offering, or you will consider other gifts you have to offer. We are grateful for them all. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for all those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others.
Our benediction is from Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard. The path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone.